Philippians chapter 4. Questions and answers on Philippians chapter 4. Question 1. What does Philippians chapter 4, verse 1 say? We look at my joy and crown. So stand fast in the Lord, beloved. Philippians chapter 4, verse 1. First, an exhortation that follows from the preceding word. This verse begins with, therefore, on the ground of the truth spoken at the end of chapter 3, that our citizenship is in heaven and that we shall one day be transformed into a glorious body. Philippians chapter 3, verses 20 through 21. It therefore exhorts us to stand fast in the Lord. Second, a calling filled with deep love. Paul calls them my beloved and longed for brethren. Philippians chapter 4, verse 1. My joy and crown. The crown is the garland given to the winner of a race, meaning that their faithful believing is Paul's very boast and reward. Third, stand fast in the Lord. The heart of the exhortation is, stand fast in the Lord. For the person who has been delivered from sin, there is no one but the Lord. And the Lord alone is the one who takes up and resolves every problem. Therefore, before any threat, we must stand firm in the Lord without wavering. Fourth, to sum up, Philippians chapter 4, verse 1, is a word that exhorts us to stand fast in the Lord. On the ground of the truth that our citizenship is in heaven. In it is contained Paul's deep love, which counted the saints of Philippi his joy and crown. And what Paul earnestly desired at this point was that they stand unshaken in the Lord, who had delivered them from sin. Question 2. What does be of the same mind in the Lord mean? Through the exhortation to Euodia and Syntyche, we look at how a quarrel in the church is to be resolved. First, calling the two by name. Paul directly calls the names of Euodia and Syntyche, the two women workers between whom there was a quarrel. Yet he does not take either side. He says, I implore Euodia and I implore Syntyche. Philippians chapter 4, verse 2. Exhorting the two of them equally. Second, be of the same mind in the Lord. The resolution of the conflict lies not in arguing over who is right and who is wrong, but in the word, be of the same mind in the Lord. Philippians chapter 4, verse 2. Because they are people who have received the same remission of sins through the same gospel, they can look to the same Lord and hold one mind once again. Third, asking a fellow worker to help them reconcile and embracing them warmly. Paul asks the true companion, yokefellow, Philippians chapter 4, verse 3, to help the two women come to be of the same mind in the Lord. He also says that they were precious workers who labored with him in the gospel, and that, quote, whose names are in the book of life, Philippians chapter 4, verse 3, warmly embracing them as God's people who have received the remission of sins, even though there was a quarrel between them. Fourth, to sum up, Philippians chapter 4, verses 2 through 3 shows the way to resolve a quarrel within the church. Paul takes no one side, but exhorts the two to be of the same mind in the Lord. He asks a fellow worker to help them reconcile, and even amid the quarrel, he embraces them as God's people whose names are written in the book of life. Because they are one family who received the remission of sins through the same gospel, they can move past the quarrel and become one in heart again.